Today, we're checking out a couple of new paddles from Honolulu Pickleball Company, the J7K and the J7K Pro. And if you're familiar with my channel, you probably already know I absolutely love Honolulu's paddles, and these are no different. These are the next step in Honolulu's 100% Kevlar line, and they are a welcome addition after the release of their hybrid J2K, which I still think is very possibly the best paddle of the year. However, if you prefer elongated paddles and want more power than the J2K, this is one you have to consider. Also, this review is on the prototype versions, and the ones that you can pre-order will be slightly different, likely a grittier surface with a bit more grab. And not all reviewers got the exact same pre-production version, so just keep that in mind. That being said, I do think I have a good idea of how the production versions will play, having played extensively with a pre-production J2K and a production J2K as well. So I think this first look review should be helpful for anyone wanting to try and snag a pre-order of Honolulu's latest release. And one more thing, Honolulu is letting me give away one of these babies for free, so stick around until the end of the video to see how to enter. All right, enough of that. Let's get into it. I want to start with one of the most unique Kevlar paddles out right now, the J7K Pro. This is a 60mm paddle with 100% aramid fiber DuPont Kevlar face with a power weave. The shape is elongated with an Aero curve. It's thermoformed unibody with perimeter edge foam. It has a polypropylene core, and its dimensions are 16.6 inches by 7.4 inches. It's got a long 6-inch handle. The grip circumference is 4.125 inches. The average weight falls between 7.9 to 8.3 ounces. Its advertised swing weight is 116 to 121 with a twist weight of 6.7. It does come with a really nice paddle cover as well as a 6-month warranty, and the price is $145 after a $20 discount using promo code MatthewKevlar. And I want to say up top, I think the J7K Pro rivals what you get with some of the Gen 3 paddles out right now, including the Gearbox Pros, which I've been testing out a lot lately. The J7K Pro is a very stiff paddle with a ton of pop and a ton of power. It sort of reminds me of the Body Helix X3 Pro, but with more power and a more traditional feel coming from that 16mm core. I really do think the J7K Pro stands toe-to-toe in the power department with the Gearbox Pros, especially if you're not a big swinger at the baseline, which I am not. And the big advantage of the J7K Pro paddle versus a Gen 3 paddle is Honolulu is getting all that power, but keeping it a more traditional core, one that presumably won't have issues with the USAP, which I know is something a lot of people are concerned about after the mess with the Gen 3 Joolas that just came out. So if you want Gen 3 power, but want to make sure you don't get a paddle that might get deregistered for tournament play, this is one to consider. As for the soft game, this paddle has a ton of pop. I actually ended up adding more weight than I typically do to dial it in for my play style, which ended up being about 4.5 grams of tungsten on each side of the throat. But after that, I actually found it to mesh well with my softer, more defensive style. And I like how Honolulu is purposely keeping the static weight of the Pro model lower than the non-Pro, so a little bit of extra weight for customization shouldn't be too big of a deal. So who's this for? I think if you want a ton of power and pop, but want a more traditional Gen 2 paddle rather than a Gen 3, this is a paddle you can't overlook. Also, that 100% DuPont Kevlar surface is just as good as it was with the J2K. It's got great grab and great spin. In fact, it seems the tighter weave of the Pro version is a big factor in how this paddle is producing so much extra power and pop, which is just really hard to believe. But it makes sense since the J7K plays so differently while being built almost the same, the biggest difference being its Kevlar weave. So let's go ahead and move right into that one. The J7K really does have similar specs to the Pro, except its 100% DuPont Kevlar surface has a control-oriented weave instead of the tighter power weave seen in its big brother. It also has a slightly higher weight range, coming in at 8 to 8.4 ounces on average, with a bump in advertised swing weight sitting between 118 and 123, but with the same advertised twist weight of 6.7. Also, this one is $10 cheaper, coming in at $135 after using promo code MatthewKevlar for a $20 discount. Okay, so the J7K is a lot more familiar feeling to me than the J7K Pro. It's definitely more plush than the Pro version. I'd say it's even softer than the production version of the J2K. It actually reminds me of a Vatic Pro V7, but with more power. And just like the V7, the J7K has great control and is really nice at drops, resets, and just about everything else. Also, it plays great right out of the box. No need to customize or add weight in my opinion. So if you want a really solid Gen 2 paddle with a top-notch Kevlar surface that has a nudge more power than a lot of other elongated paddles out right now, but don't want to deal with a paddle with a lot of pop that's hard to handle, this is a really great option. Also, even though it's elongated, that Aero curve really helps this paddle feel fast in the hands, and I never felt slow at the kitchen. It's just super, super nice. And then I have to point out how that extended handle is perfect for anyone that likes two-handed shots that might have been turned off by the J2K's shorter handle. All in all, the J7K is a really nice all-court paddle that leans even farther towards power than its little brother, the J2K. Okay, that's all I've got. If I see any big changes with the production versions of the J7K or the J7K Pro, I'll either make a follow-up video or add a comment here, so be on the lookout. As for the giveaway, all you need to do is like this video, subscribe, comment which version you want and why, and then fill out the Google form in the description so I have a way to contact you if you win. That's it. And if you go ahead and buy one and then win the raffle, Honolulu will reimburse you. So don't be afraid to get in on that pre-order since the raffle won't be for about another month. Good luck. I'll be sure to leave a link in the description for Honolulu's site. Don't forget to use promo code MatthewKevlar for that $20 discount. And I'll also leave some links and codes for some other cool paddles and paddle companies. Be sure to check those out. Using those helps me and helps the channel, so it's always appreciated. And please like and subscribe. That helps me a lot too. But most importantly, I hope you get to pickle soon, and just don't forget, it's about having fun.